Hello YouTube, welcome back to Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. Today we're going to talk, and if you're easily offended, stop watching right now. Do whatever you have to do. Move on. This is not for the easily offended. Or maybe it is for the easily offended. Who knows? I've been sitting watching all this bullshit playing out in the world today, and the way all these that are supposed to be adults acting like little children that was never disciplined. Everybody wears their feelings on their sleeves. And quite frankly, I'm getting sick of watching it. You know, you got all these people out here hollering about Trump did this, Trump did that, Trump didn't do this, or Trump didn't do that. Well, I'm here to tell you, Trump has done more for this country than any one of the last presidents that's ever been here. The economy is at its all-time high right now, except for the coronavirus. If it wasn't for that, we would be thriving right now. And yet, while we're going through a pandemic like the coronavirus, all these spoiled little backward, don't know their history assholes are running around saying, I'm offended. We got to eliminate that. We got to erase that. Oh my God. That man on the horse, man, he offends me. You know why he offends you? Because he did more than you'll ever do. And you guys know who I'm talking about. Any of these statues that's hanging around, they're there for a reason. Because they done something great in this country. They did more than cry about what the hell's going on, and they did something about it. Today, people cry about what's going on in the world, but they don't want to do nothing about it. They want to pass the buck on somebody else and let them do it and get their hands dirty. Get off your asses, America, and stop fucking protesting every damn thing that happens or didn't happen, and do something about it. Stand together as one. All these other countries are looking at us and laughing their asses off at us, and I don't fucking blame them, because we're acting like a little bunch of spoiled brats that don't know what the hell's going on in the world, but yet you know everything. You know, I was watching YouTube or some posts on Facebook that a buddy of mine posted, and it just sent me into a rage. Watching black people at the square, public square, making white people kiss their feet. I'll be damned. There will be a cold day in hell before I bow to any black man or any white man or any Muslim, anybody. There's only one person I bow to, and that's Jesus Christ himself. And you should too. I don't get it. You know, now they're going after Disney, or maybe have already been going after Disney. But for God's sakes, man, they're cartoons. They were good all these years, but now all of a sudden they ain't no good. People paid a lot of money to go see some of these musicals and stuff, and you guys know what I'm talking about. All because it offended one person. One person sitting in their basement or sitting in their house ain't got nothing to do with life. They don't care what's going on outside. They sit there in front of their computer and look for things to complain about because they have nothing better to do than to sit there and complain about somebody else and try to make somebody else feel bad because they feel bad. Well, don't feel bad. Get out and do something. Get out and do something more constructive than destructive. This country was built on hard work, dedication, trust. There is none of that no more. People don't care about the next feller. God forbid I go out here and get into a wreck and end up in a ditch. All the very people who complain about what's wrong in this country would drive right by me and pretend they didn't see it. And hope that the next guy, maybe not hope, who knows? This is bullshit. You know, people talking about Black Lives Matter. Let's get on that subject. Just the title alone tells you that whoever came up with that name was racist. Because they already defined the difference between black and white in their title. They never said all lives matter. That came in later when somebody else who did think that all lives matter decided to say that. And it became a saying. Now you go out, something bad happens to something. Let's say, for instance, an ant gets squashed. Well, ants' lives matter too. That's where it's gotten today. You know, here we have people on the streets, living under bridges, wondering where their next meal's coming from. At the same time, you got all these rich people complaining about they don't make enough money. Really? You know, the Senate, they're nitpicking and trying to figure out a way to not help the American people who voted them in office, who gave them their jobs that gets them $174,000 a year. You tell me what's wrong with that picture. You know, this pandemic really put a stress on a lot of families in this country today, well, all over the world, for that matter. And we're worried about whose lives matter. I'm sorry, all lives matter. I'm surprised the Lord hasn't sent his son again to rule the earth. Who knows, maybe we are in hell because the damned will walk the earth for 1,000 years. So maybe we are the, the damned that's walking the earth for 1,000 years. Who knows? Sure feels like it because, you know, it's like the world has turned upside down. Yes is no and no is yes. Free cost and cost is free. Well, actually, cost ain't free. That ain't actually opposite. They just changed it. There ain't no such thing as free these days. There's always a string attached to the word free. Yeah, we'll give you this for free, but you're going to spend $500 more than what you would have if you just went and bought it. Go figure. Yeah, I'm just sick of what's going on in this world today, and I'm sure I'm not alone. It's gotten to the point where I'm not surprised. But I kind of was proved wrong when I seen black people standing in a public square preaching that the white man was devil. All I got out of that whole video was the fact that they are racist. They are the very definition of a racist. Making people kiss their feet. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. Wow. It's unreal. And I'm mad about it. And any self-respecting person should be mad about it too. You know, it used to be a day that when you shook a man's hand, that was his honor. That was his trust. His word was good. Today, you shake a man's hand, you gotta worry about them pulling you in and fucking you up. Just because you didn't give them what you wanted or what they wanted. You know, today, somebody breaks into your house and you shoot them, you got to worry that you're the one going to prison because the law is not for the innocent. They're not for the victim. They're for the criminal. You know, all this action is doing is making America not great again. I don't know what to say about all this stuff. It's just I've got so much going on in my head about what's going on in the world today, and it's kind of overwhelming how these people are acting. You know, these people are complaining because they were used as slaves. No, they weren't used by slaves for slaves. 200 years ago, they might have been slaves, but it wasn't them. Every single person that was ever a slave, every single person who's ever had a slave are dead. But don't get me wrong, there is slavery going on today in the world, in other countries. You don't hear a word about that. You don't hear nothing about women being imprisoned for 30 years just because they took their veil off or their head covering off. You don't hear a word about that. I watched that in a video today, and that man was right. I don't know who it was. I didn't get a link for it. I don't know if it was a YouTube channel, but I sure would like to know who it was because I shared his video. And I'd like for the world to see what he had to say. And he's a Muslim, or at least I think that's what he was. He's not from this country. And he had more for Donald Trump than some of the American people. We don't stand together today. We don't unite as one and defend each other. We're at each other's throats. And every country out there has a right to look at us in a despicable manner. Because America has become what not to become. You got greedy people, selfish people, complaining people, people who don't want to work for what they own. Every single item I have on my place, I worked for. And if I didn't work for it, I traded for something that I did work for. So I still worked for it. I don't get my shit for free. And if I do, it came at a cost. There's always a string attached to the word free. Don't ever forget that. Today's world, there's no such thing as free again. You know, these people who are complaining so much and crying like a little 2-year-old because they don't get their way, or they can't marry their own sex, or whatever it may be. There's too many to list. All that's doing is breaking us down. It's tearing this country apart, and eventually there's going to be no trust. There'll be no trust. People will just kill each other because that's where it's headed. I'm sad to see it. It breaks my heart to see this country act the way they do. And I'm not saying everybody's like that. There's a lot of people out there who are very respectable people who work for what they own, who help other people, who don't mind getting their hands dirty to help their fellow man. And should I say woman too? Because if I don't, I'm a sexist. It's gotten to the point where you can't even talk to anybody freely anymore because you're afraid that they're going to take something out of context because their mind works that way. When you got people whose minds works that way, there's a word for that. Mentally challenged. That's somebody that just can't see past their face. Anyway, I had to voice my opinion today, and it's not going to do no good. I know it's not going to do no good, but it makes me feel better to know that people know how I feel about what's going on in the world today. And it's sad. It really is sad. My heart bleeds for this country, but it does me no good because one man, one woman cannot change the world unless you're rich. If you got thousands of dollars to just pour out, they're not going to help the next person. They're going to help themselves. And one day it's going to bite us in the ass. You mark my word. All this action today is leading up to one thing and one thing only. The end. The end is coming. And you better be ready. Because if you're not ready, sorry about your bad luck, but you're going to walk the earth for 1,000 years in misery. So, think about that, guys. Think about what you can do to help the next person. Think about what you have and what the next person doesn't have and help that person out. Don't take no shit off nobody. Don't let people rule you and tell you what to feel. Only you know what you feel. If you don't know how to feel, I can't help you. You're going to have to learn that on your own. But don't overlook the obvious. And don't take the obvious out of context. Do your research before you go running off the mouth. Wow. I got to get off of here and drink my coffee and see what I'm going to do today. I finished a project yesterday. Well, I'm not completely finished, but I'm almost there. And I decided not to video it because it's not doing me any good to video my work. Because simply, I've got over 3,000 subscribers, and I'm lucky to get over 200 views on each one of my videos. It's not helping. It's hindering. I'm going through the steps, just not getting the results. So, but anyway, that's for another video. I hope you guys got something out of this video. Maybe it'll wake you up. Maybe it'll open your eyes. I don't know. Maybe it'll spark a hatred towards me. I don't know. And quite frankly, I don't give a shit. I am who I am. And I do care about the next person. And I hope that never changes. Man, people are working hard to change the way I feel about the way things are today. And I don't get it. You know, it's gotten to the point where I wake up in the morning, I don't want to see nothing on TV. I don't want to see nothing on Facebook. But because my channel is on the internet, I cope with it. Because even though it does bring such a small amount, what is it, $50 a month? If that, if I'm lucky. So it's not much, but without it, it would be less. So I thank my lucky stars that I have at least that. I wish a lot of people thought like that, but they don't. Anyway, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit whatever, like, dislike you want. You're going to do it anyway. Tell me what you think of what's going on in the world today. If I'm wrong about something, let me know. If you agree with what I say, let me know. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Later.